What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and in yesterday's video, we talked about how Marvel was starting to make some pretty big changes in the MCU. We talked about Marvel Studios making more mature type content, and it sounds like Spider-Man is going to be no exception to that. And I believe that a lot of fans are going to think that what we're about to talk about in this video is some pretty great news as far as Spider-Man in the MCU goes. We have a lot of plot details to go over about the film, plus we have a report of who Marvel Studios wants to direct Spider-Man 4, and a lot of people might be really excited about this. And if Marvel Studios gets their choice, it could be a big change in how we see Spider-Man on screen. So a lot to dive into, let's get to it. But if you're new, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU videos. And if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. The winner picks one item. We pick one winner at the end of every single month. So we'll go over who Marvel Studios is eyeing for their director for Spider-Man 4, because once we talk about that, then the rest will make a lot of sense and make you even more excited about the plot details, like Daredevil being a part of Spider-Man 4. According to the insider Daniel RPK, Marvel is eyeing Drew Goddard as the director of Spider-Man 4. So we've heard rumors in the past that they perhaps want Jon Watts to return, but as more time goes on, it doesn't seem like Marvel Studios is looking to do that. Jon Watts directed the first Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy, and whether or not you really liked the Spider-Man trilogy, there's no doubt that it was a massive success box office wise. Each movie performed extremely well, and I still to this day love Spider-Man No Way Home. But one thing that fans really kind of had a problem with is that Spider-Man kind of had his hand held the entire trilogy. He basically had a babysitter the entire time. In Homecoming, and of course in Civil War as well, it was Tony Stark. In Far From Home, it was Nick Fury and Happy, although Nick Fury was really Talos. Then of course in Spider-Man No Way Home, the other two Spider-Man popped up, which again, I loved. I'm not complaining about that at all. But what Spider-Man No Way Home did at the end was set up Spider-Man to finally be on his own. Then we started hearing reports that there are going to be other characters coming into Spider-Man No Way Home, like Daredevil and possibly Ant-Man, to maybe be the mentor, the new mentor to Peter Parker, which a lot of people didn't like because a lot of people want him to be on his own. Well, as we find out a little bit more about the plot of Daredevil Born Again and Spider-Man 4, we are figuring out that that might not necessarily be the case. Spider-Man might not be getting a mentor, but he might be getting more along the lines of colleagues, which is fine. We're also learning that Spider-Man isn't exactly going to be a part of the Avengers team in the next Avengers film. He is going to be in the movie, but might not be a part of the actual official lineup, and we'll tell you why in this video. Spider-Man is going to be a part of several projects in the MCU that connect to each other. The big one that Spider-Man will connect to is Daredevil Born Again. Born Again is going to set up a lot of the plot for Spider-Man 4. And here's the really cool thing. Drew Goddard was actually the one who developed the Netflix Daredevil series. He was the one who developed it in the beginning, and then he left to work on a Sinister Six movie for Sony, which never got made. But he was already being eyed to direct Spider-Man related projects. So this would be a perfect fit for him to direct a Spider-Man movie that is directly connected to Daredevil and will probably have Daredevil in the film. So let me explain how everything is going to connect and how Spider-Man 4 could be a pretty dark movie. We could see a very darker version of Spider-Man, and how that Civil War rumor for Spider-Man 4 could be true. You see, a big part of what is going to happen in Daredevil Born Again is that Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, is going to become the mayor of New York. And from what we've heard, he does try to be good, but he wants to make vigilantes illegal. This makes Matt Murdock very busy as a lawyer, and this could be how he gets brought into Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man, of course, is a vigilante. Now, luckily for Spider-Man, not sure if this was intentional or just a very good coincidence, but luckily for him, the memory of Peter Parker has been erased from everybody, so nobody knows who Spider-Man is. So he can go about being Spider-Man and not have to worry about cops knowing who he is and showing up to his door going, "Hey, Peter Parker, let's go. You're going to jail because you're a vigilante." But kind of like we know Spider-Man to be, he is going to be a vigilante, and the cops are kind of going to be against him / for him sometimes. And based off of where we left from No Way Home, he really is kind of going to be on his own. Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, will come in because Spider-Man might actually seek legal counsel for this. Or it could be the opposite. Daredevil could actually seek out Spider-Man because, like I mentioned, from what we've heard, there is going to be somewhat of a Civil War story going on in Spider-Man 4. It's previously been reported that Ant-Man could show up as well, and people know who Scott Lang is. People know that Scott Lang is Ant-Man, so he could show up in a city where being a vigilante is illegal and get mixed up kind of in a war that is not his. But what we are assuming is going to happen is that there are going to be heroes all around who have different opinions on what they believe is right or wrong. Basically like Captain America's Civil War. Some believe the Sokovia Accords were necessary, and of course some thought they weren't. Same thing that goes for Wilson Fisk making vigilantes illegal. I'm assuming Spider-Man is going to not care about that. I'm assuming Daredevil is probably not going to care about that, but might be a little twisted in his opinion because after all, he is a lawyer representing a lot of people. But at the same time, he knows Kingpin is behind this and he knows how bad Kingpin is. If you didn't catch my video yesterday, Marvel Studios confirmed the Daredevil Netflix series is canon to the MCU sacred timeline. So everything from the Netflix Daredevil series happened in the MCU. They are including that as a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is awesome. And again, Drew Goddard developed that series. So him to come in to direct Spider-Man 4 would be great. And like I mentioned, the overall tone would be much darker, like Daredevil. Vinny D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin in the Netflix series and of course in the MCU now, even stated recently that his character being introduced in Echo under the Marvel Spotlight banner TV mature rating was a really good thing because his character needed to be viewed in a mature type of manner like he was in the Netflix series. The same thing I think goes for Daredevil. In fact, Vinny D'Onofrio said that he expects Daredevil to be under that Marvel Spotlight banner as well and for the project to be TV mature. So Spider-Man 4 is going to pick up pretty much where Daredevil leaves off. Then if we have Drew Goddard directing Spider-Man 4, we can definitely expect a more mature tone for Spider-Man, which I think a lot of people really wouldn't mind. And don't get me wrong, we don't want him to lose his charm or his personality, but given the situation that he's in right now, it is pretty rough for him. He doesn't have Tony Stark, he doesn't have Aunt May, Happy doesn't know who he is, nobody knows who he is. Literally, he has nobody, so it is a pretty dark and rough time for him. He doesn't even have MJ or Ned, so what has been set up is naturally a darker tone for the next Spider-Man films. And going back to the Civil War plot for Spider-Man 4, this could be why he's not a part of the official lineup for Avengers 5. Another project that will tie into Spider-Man 4 a little bit is Captain America Brave New World. In Captain America 4, we're going to find out that the President of the United States was actually Red Hulk, and we're assuming Captain America is going to take him down. And the world's going to see this, so they might start to question again if superheroes are good or bad for the population. We're essentially kind of going through phase 3 again of the MCU. We're in a different place now. The Sokovia Accords have been taken away. They don't exist anymore because of course the Avengers saved the universe from Thanos in Avengers Endgame. But it seems like people are easy to forget what happened, and now it's kind of going back to, well, are these superheroes doing good or are they actually harming the city? And now the president is a Hulk, and that's super concerning. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this linked with Daredevil Born Again, and this was one of the reasons that Kingpin, or Mayor Wilson Fisk, decides to put an outlaw on vigilantism. And Sam Wilson could show up in Spider-Man 4 as well, and could be against Spider-Man. He could be for him, he could be against him, but either way, he might be a part of the Civil War, and Spider-Man might decide to go against him, which is why he might not be a part of the official Avengers roster because Captain America, Sam Wilson's Captain America, probably thinks that he can't trust Spider-Man, especially if he doesn't know who he is. And we have heard reports that Spider-Man 4 is going to focus more on Spider-Man and not Peter Parker, which again, if you think about all of the circumstances that have been set up by the previous movies and the upcoming projects, this makes a lot of sense. Nobody knows who Spider-Man is. However, the Avengers, the remaining Avengers who know who Spider-Man is, are going to have to deal with the fact that they don't actually know his identity. Because remember, the Doctor Strange spell made it to where people forgot who Peter Parker was, not who Spider-Man was. Everybody still knows who Spider-Man is. So the Avengers should all remember fighting alongside Spider-Man in Avengers Endgame. However, they don't know that he's Peter Parker. And since they basically know the identity of all of the other superheroes, it might kind of rub them the wrong way that they don't know who Spider-Man is. And if Peter Parker doesn't want to reveal his identity, then there might be some kind of distrust there. Distrust that would make Sam Wilson go, well, maybe he can't be a part of the Avengers right now because I don't trust him. Now again, going back to what I said before, just because he might not be a part of the official lineup at first doesn't mean he's not going to be a part of Avengers 5. In fact, we've heard that he is going to be the lead character of Avengers 5 and of Secret Wars. So don't sweat about that. He's still going to play a huge part in the future of the MCU and the future Avengers films. But let me know what you think about Drew Goddard possibly directing Spider-Man 4 and Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6 possibly having a darker tone than the Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man and MCU news. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.